Michigan. Ohio State, even though they're the 7th seed, they have 9 top 50 wins and 34 wins overall on the season. Let's take a look at the updated bracket, the top half at least. The winner will face Michigan, and the loser of this Purdue-Ohio State tilt will have an elimination bout tomorrow morning against the Iowa Hawkeyes.
One of the few blips on the screen for the Purdue Boilermakers. Coach Mark Wazakowski has done an outstanding job rebuilding this program in his 2nd season.
Boy, he really has, but they dropped 2 of 3 against Ohio State. They'll try to right the ship. It's a very good Ohio State lineup. A batting average in the regular season of .291, which was 2nd best in the entire Big Ten Conference. They got a lot of good bats from top to bottom. In particular, you look in that 3-hole, Dane, and Noah McGowan.
Well, it's great to see Noah McGowan back on the defensive side. Spent a lot of time in the DH role, hampered by an ankle injury. He's back at full speed on the hot corner.
Media Ameritrade Park, home of the College World Series, but this week home to the Big Ten Baseball Championship. Sunny skies. Few overcast clouds, but temperatures where you would expect them this time of year, rising through the 80s right now at 87 degrees. The winds in Game 1 sat around 10 miles per hour, right now coming in at 13 miles per hour, blowing in from center field. State Farm state of success is that continued turnaround from 10 wins in 2016 to 29 last year to 34 and counting this season. Wazakowski continues to do his thing in year 2 in West Lafayette. Scott mentioned they do the little things. They lead the league in sack bunts. They always find a way on base, second hit by pitches, and they do things well defensively. Talked about their catcher, Nick D'Alessandro. They catch more base runners stealing than any other team in the league.
And we saw that firsthand last weekend against Michigan, a team that can be very dominant on the base paths, and Nick D'Alessandro is phenomenal and did an outstanding job kind of cutting down the runners for the Wolverines, and he's been very consistent in that role all season long. He's been a guy that has totally engulfed the responsibilities of being a catcher. He's a guy that moved around, very versatile, very athletic, but he says, hey, I'm a catcher, and this is where I'm going to hopefully make my living in a few years.
Boilermakers won this event in 2012, their only tournament title. And we discussed Ohio State after missing last year, winning the tournament back in 2016. Now they are back and a part of this event. And the man opposing those Buckeye hitters will be the right-hander, number 13, Tanner Andrews.
Tanner Andrews has been a staple as the beginning of this pitching rotation all season long. His number's 2.71. ERA, 67 strikeouts to 36 walks. So he has been phenomenal in this role as well. And you see the scouting report, can ramp his fastball up to 95 miles an hour. The tough part is that it has a lot of movement and some sink to it. And he has a nightmare splitter that makes him a ground ball guy. He's on top of his game when he's inducing ground balls from opposing batters.
Scouting report presented by Dr. Pepper. So Andrews will be facing Canzone, Foppe, and McGowan. 1, 2, 3. And in Game 1, that was the pitcher's duel that we saw. Michigan winning 2-1 in 10 innings. Tommy Henry was lifted for Michigan in the 2nd inning. He got hit in the arm, but they were able to rally and get the victory in extras. Here's the defense behind Andrews. Nissel, Hunter, and Oland in the outfield. Shipley and Powers up the middle. Warden and McGowan at the corners. And we talked about D'Alessandro catching. Speaking of catching, Warden caught a ball off his face in that series that we did against Michigan. He had 8 stitches. He's tough and back out there, though, and ready to go.
He's at that hot corner, and that ball comes at you pretty quickly. And give a lot of credit to Evan Warden being that tough guy. I mean, that was just a few days ago, and he's back out there full speed, a few stitches in his mouth, and ready to play.
Yeah, he had a couple stitches outside and a few on the inside of the mouth as well. That was Saturday in the series finale. So he's back there, and Dominic Canzone in the batter's box, and takes a first pitch strike. We are underway in Game 2. Canzone has hit leadoff every game this year for Ohio State. The only Buckeye that has been in the same spot in the order every go-around.
Second team all Big Ten this year and has been the table setter for this Buckeye offense. Really done a nice job in that role.
Andrews into the wine, tries to go upstairs, but Canzone does not chase.
Talked about Tanner Andrews being the ace for this staff this year. Actually, he's been in that role for the last 2 years. Very dependable, consistent performer.
Grew up knowing a lot about the West Lafayette area from nearby Rochester, Indiana. Saw that note right there, that 2.71 ERA, the lowest for a Purdue starter since 1992. Sherrard Clinkscales back then had a 2.34.
Playing against Sherrard Clinkscales back then, and he's gone on to do great things as an athletic director at Indiana State right now, and after a brief career with the Royals. Fun times, fun games back then.
Clinkscale was actually a roommate of Matt Painter.
Yes.
Purdue basketball coach back in the day. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Canzone, the right fielder. And we'll do it again, so he's making Andrews work on the first at bat of the game.
Exactly what you want to accomplish as the leadoff batter. Obviously, you want to get on base, but if you can force the pitcher to spend a lot of his pitches on you, and you can see the battle continues on with Canzone. Dangerous hitter from the left side, a guy who can hit to all parts of the field, and one of the vocal leaders. He's like the fuel, Greg Beal says, of this team.
8 pitches so far, 5 foul balls. And this time, Tanner Andrews blows it by Dominic Canzone. 1 away.
It's an excellent job of Andrews hitting his spot. Watch D'Alessandro move out of the zone. That's a running fastball. Movement with his arm side. Works away from the left-handed batter and Canzone, and no chance to touch it. Good sequence of pitches by Andrews.
And now the second baseman, Kobe Foppe. He's late on the 90-mile-per-hour offering. Junior from Phoenix, Arizona. Spent the first 2 years at South Mountain Community College in Phoenix, and here he's got a single through the left side. Shipley shaded the other way, and he couldn't get to it.
It's a nice job being aggressive in the at-bat by Foppe. Fastball down and in. He drives it just past Shipley at shortstop. That's the one thing you know about Foppe. He's going to compete. He's a scrappy guy. He's gotten things going for the Buckeyes.
8-game hit streak now for Kobe Foppe. He's reached in 37 of his last 38 games. And now the man we talked about a few minutes ago, Noah McGowan. .368 average.
Leads the team in that category, has 9 home runs, also the leader there. Impressive 19 doubles on the season as well. And as I mentioned, suffered an ankle injury.
And they throw over to first, and it gets by Jackson McGowan. And Foppe's going to turn at second and then hold there as the right fielder Alec Olin was able to get to it.
Just an errant pickoff throw here. You can see Foppe was actually creeping, was dead to rights in some respect. If there's an accurate throw on the pickoff, no chance at first base for McGowan to stop that ball, and good job advancing by Foppe.
That will be an error against Tanner Andrews. So Foppe in scoring position.
Brandon, you were looking at me. I had the body language going on up here, pointing to first base because he was creeping and leaning so far.
Yeah, you were right on the money. They went over that way, but the errant throw puts him at second. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out in the top of the first. As the 6-foot, 210-pounder McGowan waits. Below the knees, 2-1.
McGowan does do a nice job of recognizing pitches early, lays off speed, sitting for that fastball, waiting for something to drive. He's done a nice job this season. 54 RBIs on the year.
Looking for number 55 here. He's ahead in the count. 3-1.
Go back to last year, 2017. He was what Greg Beals noted as a guy that was chasing numbers, chasing pitches, trying too hard, not just the ability to kind of flourish. And he settled down this year and really has had a nice season.
Some mechanical adjustments to the swing in the offseason have proved very fruitful, and now time is called. (3-1) down the right field line, but foul. Get to the third row. Not only McGowan, but really the top of this order for Ohio State. They have been really productive.
You can see the numbers speak for themselves. Extra base hits, RBIs, pretty much what you would want. If you had to draw up a lineup as far as production, to have that 1 through 4 is amazing.
Hitting .291 as a team, second best in the conference. The offense has been there for Greg Beals and this unit. But Tanner Andrews taking his time here and not able to agree on a sign with D'Alessandro.
Greg Beals even talked about the experience, and you noted that Ohio State did not make the tournament last year after winning it in 2016. He said that was a growing process. That was a part of the growth process for this team.
That one off the end of the bat. Tyler Powers on to first for the second out.
Andrews made a concerted effort to try to work away from McGowan, out of his wheelhouse on the outside part of the plate. That's a good execution on that last pitch. Came back at him relatively hard. He got the out.
That does move Kobe Foppe to third base, so the potential lead run is 90 feet away. Connor Pohl, the DH, stands in the cleanup spot and takes that pitch. 1-0. Tanner Andrews has had control issues throughout his career. Yes, 173 strikeouts, but 115 walks during his time as a Boilermaker. And he's behind again, 2-0.
This is definitely not what you want to see early in this game from your ace. He has to get into a rhythm.
That's in there and cut foul by Connor Pohl.
Pohl has rolled to that DH position, as we talked about. McGowan back at full speed. Able to get to third base, and Pohl now at that DH position, but he has a high ceiling, and Greg Beals believes he's a definite pro prospect, mainly because of the way he swings the bat.
He's ahead here, 3-1. Last year as a freshman, Pohl just 17 starts, but he was productive, hit .325, and now the expanded role this season, and he earns a walk. So those are the issues we have talked about with Tanner Andrews.
Well, there's a difference between being careful and being too fine. And I think against this lineup for the Buckeyes, you have to be careful and pick your spots, especially against the top 4 hitters. But then trying to be too fine on the corners can get you in trouble, and that's what we're seeing from Andrews right now. Is the The ball's moving away. Doesn't have command of his pitches yet. But as we saw in game 1 of this tournament between Iowa and Michigan, it'll take an inning for guys to kind of settle in.
Tyler Cowles, the inning continues to the 5th batter in the order. And once again, Tanner Andrews can't find the plate. Cowles has a 10-game hit streak, longest on the Ohio State team. Popped up, foul ground. McGowan goes over there, but that's well into the seats. What a jump it's been for Cowles after hitting 1 all the way up to 324.
Well, Greg Beals considers him a key part of this offense. Not just because of the numbers, but because of his at-bats.
And this time he hits it into right center field, and it plugs the gap. Foppe scores from third. Here comes Connor Pohl all the way around. He scores, and it's 2-0 Ohio State.
Well, when you start to dig yourself a hole on the mound, you get predictable with your pitches, and this is a fastball from Andrews that Cowles just hits right on the screws to right center field. Nice job keeping his head down. Quiet body, violent hands. Drives the ball to the wall, gets 2 RBI.
Now he has 45 runs driven and his 17th double for Tyler Cowles. So he's out at second base. Dylan Dingler awaits the pitch and takes it. Six pitches, 15 strikes so far for Tanner Andrews. Ground ball back up the middle. Able to stop it. Powers rounding third and heading home is Cowles. And D'Alessandro has him at the plate on the throw from Jackson McGowan. So Cowles tried to slip in, even though that ball didn't find center field. Unsuccessful, but Ohio State's up 2-0. 2 runs in for Ohio State, but Dana, an interesting ending to that top of the first.
Yes, very interesting. It was a nice job defensively here, keeping the ball in the infield, saved the run, but a relay throw from McGowan. And how about that pick at home? There's a reason why Nick D'Alessandro is one of the top catchers in the country, making those plays look easy.
That was a tough in-between short hop, but as you said, made it. Purdue will work from behind with this batting order. D'Alessandro and Hunter both above 300 in the 2 and 3 slots.
Oh, just like we saw with the Buckeyes, you have top producers in the top 4 or 5 of this lineup for the Purdue Boilermakers. Nick D'Alessandro right there at number 2. Not just having a great year in the box, but also on the base paths as well.
And it'll be Connor Curlis, lefty for Ohio State, making his 16th appearance, a 7-3 record.
Well, Curlis is not going to be overpowering. You see his number 7-3 on the season. Opponent's just batting .260 against him. But from that left side, he can be a guy that can get between 88 and 90 miles an hour with his fastball.
And he starts with the only true left-handed bat in the Purdue order, Harry Shipley. And 7 right-handed hitters sandwiched in there. Skylar Hunter in the 3-hole is a switch hitter for Mark Wasikowski. Off the fist, going over. Nice range by Noah McGowan.
Nice lateral movement by McGowan, as we talked about, brushing off the ankle injury and showing that he has some range at that third base position. That was going to be a tough play for the shortstop Noah West if that ball drops. Harry Shipley with good speed.
Yeah, I think Shipley for sure would have reached, but not the case. And here is the aforementioned D'Alessandro. Down and away. After that sweep last weekend at home against Michigan, Purdue ended the regular season with a 13-game home winning streak at Alexander Field. First time they've done that since 1987. That 1987 team made the NCAA tournament, and then there was that long drought before the 2012 team won the Big Ten tournament and got into the NCAA tournament.
I've got the chance to call a lot of games over the last 10 years with the Big Ten Network and watch some great teams, Indiana teams with Kyle Schwarber and Sam Travis, and the last couple of years the Iowa Hawkeyes and Jake Adams. But watching that Purdue Boilermaker team, even going into Illinois when they had 50-plus wins and Tyler Jay dominating on the mound and in a relief role, it was not more fun a team to watch than that team. Kevin Plawecki, Cameron Perkins, and a host of other stars on that team that really did an amazing job during that kind of 2 or 3 year window when they were pretty dominant in the Big Ten.
And that 2012 team, the only Big Ten tournament title that Purdue has. 3-2 pitch, foul away. And the 17 Big Ten wins that Purdue has right now, that matches the 2012 team. Mark Wasikowski, 20 years as an assistant, and now 2 years as the head coach. And D'Alessandro gets on with one away. On the defensive side for Ohio State, McGowan at third. West, Foppe, and Coolin the other infielders. Barnwell will catch Curlis. And then Cowles, Dingler, and Dominic Canzone in the outfield left to right.
Coolin at first base, really good defensively also. Swings the bat in solid fashion at the bottom of the lineup. Some production there, but he's in there mainly for his defense.
He's holding on D'Alessandro, who leads all the catchers in the country with 22 stolen bases.
You see D'Alessandro at first base. What he'll do is he'll actually get a little bit of a plus lead, and when he's not stealing, he actually starts to retreat to first base just again to accomplish some movement in the eye of the opposing pitcher, especially until he gets a read on Curlis's move, the tell. He has the green light to be able to swipe second base.
One down at the bottom of the first, and the 1-1 offering is nowhere near. Ohio State jumped on the board at the top of this inning. A 2-out, 2 RBI double by Tyler Cowles. Now Curlis will throw over.
That's one thing about Coach Mark Wasikowski. He comes from the West Coast, kind of employs the West Coast philosophy in the game of baseball, moving runners, being athletic on the base paths. It's worked extremely well for him.
Ohio State understanding that, they want to keep D'Alessandro as close as they can. Connor Curlis, the junior lefty from Findlay, Ohio, 6'2", 195 in the center of the diamond. Runner goes, ground ball, and that works to perfection for Purdue, because Foppe could not reach back to grab it, and they're at the corners.
Excellent job of hitting by Skylar Hunter, poking the ball to the right side of second base. As you see, they're trying to move the second baseman over to cover on the stolen base attempt, and that's a run and hit situation worked to perfection as D'Alessandro scoots to third base easily.
Game one today, it was 1-1 into the 10th inning, and Michigan won 2-1. Well, Ohio State's already scored 2. And now Purdue threatening in the bottom half.
Very dangerous hitter here, Jackson McGowan. We talked about Noah McGowan, no relation. Jackson McGowan for the Boilermakers. 12 home runs on the season. Very aggressive in the batter's box as well.
In a little bit of a slump right now. 5 for his last 43. Coming into this tournament, but still a .387 on base percentage.
And last weekend we saw him against Michigan, even in a slump, amidst the slump, he was about to be intentionally walked, and the pitcher threw a foul close as the catcher stepped out for the intentional walk, and he fouled it off. So he's always ready.
On the next pitch, they were flustered, and the catcher, Brock Keener, dropped the ball, and D'Alessandro scored from third base in what was a big run.
That's right.
Already a meeting induced here as Jacob Barnwell goes out to talk to Curlis. But McGowan just 192 in Big Ten play. 2 balls and no strikes. D'Alessandro at third. Hunter at first. Cuts and fouls it back behind home. Two-one for the stretch, off the fist and fouled again. So from 2-0 to 2-2.
A nice job by Curlis working both sides of the plate, and when he gets himself in troubles, when he tries to press a little bit too much, has to stay controlled, emotions controlled there. As I mentioned, he's can get up to 89 miles an hour with his fastball. When he starts to press too much, that's when the game gets away from him.
His 2-2 is fouled away again. So both pitchers really having to work in this first inning. That's 18 pitches now for Connor Curlis.
That's a nice job covering the plate by McGowan. That pitch is on the outside. Not even sure if that would have been called a strike. And he's in protect mode with the 2-2 count.
Check over, nothing doing over there with Skylar Hunter.
Hunter has good speed, mans the center field position for the Boilermakers. 11 stolen bases on the season.
Yet another foul ball back our way. Jackson McGowan will be draft eligible, being a junior after this year, and even though he's had his struggles down the stretch, you would have to think that he's pretty appetizing for some major league teams.
He has that capability. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way.
Connor Curlis with another 2-2 offering. And he gets McGowan chasing it out of the zone. First strikeout of the day for Connor Curlis.
Nice job by Curlis pulling back on this pitch. There's that curveball down in the zone. Starts out in the zone, and with 2 strikes, McGowan can't take it.
69th strikeout this year in 78 innings pitched for Connor Curlis. Here's Ben Nissel, unanimous all Big Ten freshman team. He has had a great year, native of Schererville, Indiana.
No matter how much prowess you come in as a freshman with, how much accolades and rankings and so on, it's still a surprise to have the kind of production that a freshman like Nissel has had. Started out hot, had a little bit of a drop, but then really came on thereafter and has been a huge, huge asset to this Boilermaker outfield.
The left fielder awaits a 1-1 pitch with runners at the corners as Purdue tries to get at least one of those back that they surrendered in the top of this inning. But Curlis is a strike away from getting out of it. Even though through 5 batters, he's only had 1 first pitch strike, so he started behind the 8 ball most of the time here in the first inning. Gets the sign from Barnwell. 1-2. Runner breaks for second, trying to bait him into a throw. Now they throw down to third. And the man that they baited was Nick D'Alessandro as he's gunned down, trying to scramble back.
Excellent job on the execution. It was a delayed steal by the Boilermakers. Skylar Hunter at first base, and the back pick happens, and the Buckeyes get out of it.
Returns 2-0 Ohio State. We had an interesting end to the top of the first and the bottom of the first. Watch this.
It's a nice job by Barnwell behind the plate, faking the throw to second, and Nick D'Alessandro watch how his shoulders stay square to home plate right there. Now you have to turn your full body back around to try to get back to third base, and he was not successful.
But of all the men who should not have been fooled by the fake from the catcher, you'd think it was D'Alessandro.
Yeah, once you see the catcher kind of shuffle, you actually saw Jacob Barnwell take a little crow hop there. You kind of know that he's not throwing down to second base. You recognize that and retreat. Abort mission. That should have been going through his head.
And now Barnwell leads off the second. It's hit a ton, but it's also a ton foul. 2-1. Greg Beals said about Barnwell, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better catch-throw tool guy in our league. Here using the bat, but he's robbed of a base hit by Tyler Powers at second base.
Excellent job. Actually, Tyler Powers had him played to pull the ball, was dead up the middle, plays that to his glove side, gives some field into the outfield, and a good strong throw. Excellent footwork, body control, and accuracy right there to get the first out.
Discover bringing you that BTN standout. And now 1 pitch, 1 out. Bo Coolman rolls it to Jackson McGowan.
This is what Tanner Andrews needed to have, is success quickly in this second inning.
For a little more on the Buckeyes, let's go back down to our man of the dugout, Scott Pose.
Well, y'all talked about Greg Beals and what a sting it was for them not to make the tournament last year, but they went back to the drawing board in the offseason and stressed an approach of hitting the gaps and generating some backspin. And it shows in their numbers because this team is as potent an offense as there is in the league.
Well, just as you say that, Scott, almost hitting a home run, but foul and a little shy of the fence, Noah West in the 9-hole. But they did plug the gaps in the first inning with Tyler Cowles hitting that 2 RBI double to right center. Up and in. The 0-2 offering a little chin music.
See, if fastball gets away from him, that's that fastball that has the arm side run.
And then after throwing one at the helmet, you get one over the plate. He swings and misses. 1-2-3, top of the second. Since April 20th, Purdue's been smoking 18-2. They have been hot.
Absolutely hot. They've done it in all fashions. Good pitching, timely hitting, solid defense. You see those last 2 losses at Ohio State. Got to change things around for them.
That series was May 11th through the 13th in Columbus. Ohio State has owned this series as of late. In the last 15 games, they've won 11 of them out of the Buckeyes, or out from the Boilermakers, I should say. Of course, we documented those lean years in between the 2012 title campaign and these last 2 under Mark Wasikowski. That's fouled back off the bat of Ben Nissel.
Greg Beals really doing a nice job during his tenure. Spoke about just a couple of years ago right here in the same venue. He was able to come away from the losers side of the bracket, come away with the Big Ten tournament championship.
The only Big Ten tournament he missed was last season, but that was the only time he was in the NCAA tournament a pair of years ago. Up the ladder, Nissel chased it, and Curlis gets his second strikeout.
As we mentioned earlier, Connor Curlis works well when he's elevating his fastball out of the zone. He has that changeup and a curveball to match it, but when that ball's eye level, as much batting practice and tee work and soft toss that these young men do, and a lot of people in baseball, it just seems that the ball gets elevated by your eyes. It's almost the toughest thing to lay off of.
He could not, and now Curlis deals to Nick Everts, the DH. He gets the DH responsibilities with left-handers on the mound. It's been a platoon situation between he and Evan Kennedy this year. Junior college transfer from Colleyville, Texas. Chase that one downstairs, 1-2. These two teams did meet in the 2012 Big Ten tournament. That's the last time they played each other at the tournament play. It's back, as we talked about, when Purdue won the event. Purdue was the 1 seed, and they won 5-4 over Ohio State. And he keeps the at-bat alive, does Nick Everts, by fouling it back to the screen. Connor Curlis into the wind. Got him. Called strike. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts. He got McGowan back in the first, down Nissel and Everts in the second.
It looked like Everts was guessing just a bit, had fouled off a few fastballs, and here's a nice groove fastball on the inside part of the plate. Perfectly placed by Curlis, and buckles Everts for the second out. That's one of those situations where you start to think, oh, surely he's not going to throw me another fastball, and then you foul one off, and surely he's not going to throw it again, and you foul it off, and you start to get in your own head instead of just staying with your game plan that you stepped in the batter's box with. And he comes back with that fastball.
And this one out to the second baseman, Kobe Foppe. He takes it where the dirt meets the grass. 1-2-3, bottom of the second.
Chopper, fair ball. The play's at the plate. They've got Miller hung up. And Dubuque makes the play. Both runners move up, and the ball gets away. Purdue's going to take the lead. They win it. The 2012 Big Ten Tournament Championship.
A look back. Purdue defeating Indiana in state battle at the championship game that we talked about back in 2012, their only Big Ten tournament title. Evan Kugler on the call there, and he will be on the call the next 2 games of the day with Scott Pose. He'll be down in the dugout, and I'll be in air conditioning somewhere. No, I'll come back and visit you guys in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yes.
Throw peanut shells at you.
Yeah, come back in your Hawaiian shirt.
I might. As Dominic Canzone slaps that one foul, 1-2.
I know I have a lot of fun when I'm down in the dugout. You get to see all the dynamics and the relationships and some of the quirks that go on with the players and even the coaches getting involved. So I'm sure Scott has some stories down there as well.
Off his back foot, a one-hopper from Powers to McGowan gets the job done. Canzone's 0 for 2.
Good to see Powers back. His ankle is fully recovered, and instead of trying to wave at that with his glove and possibly backhanded, he went along with just keeping it in front of him, and the scoop by Jackson McGowan at first base completes the play.
They were worried when he slipped going over the bag against Michigan because he has become such a vital part defensively. But looking pretty good out there. This one to the left side. Shipley has to hurry. And he does. Foppe is down 6-3, 2 away.
It's a nice job by Harry Shipley, ending a very, very solid career as a Boilermaker and been extremely strong at shortstop. And Coach Mark Wasikowski believes he has one of the top shortstops in the Big Ten right there. And just a hard worker, not tall and rangy, but he gets the job done.
And now Noah McGowan. This is what you want if you're Purdue, to have him up there with 2 outs and nobody on. And on the carpet to Tyler Powers. A tidy 8-pitch, top of the 3rd for Tanner Andrews as they go in order. May 23rd in Omaha. Sun and a little steam as the temperatures get up towards 90 degrees. Baseball weather, bottom of the 3rd, 2-0 Ohio State. Wind blowing in from center as it has been all morning and now early afternoon. 8-9-1 for Purdue. Warden, Powers, Shipley. Mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, 8 stitches around the mouth of Evan Warden after taking the ball at third base on a bad hop right off the kisser.
And no protective gear on, no extra piece to his helmet. Just going to grind it out.
And he hits this pretty well to left. Going back, he can't make the catch. Tyler Cowles over his glove. So the toughness for Evan Warden continues as he powers a double to left.
This is where the wind becomes a little deceptive. This is a nice job by Warden here. Finds the pitch that he wants and drives it to left field. But the outfielders playing shallow don't really expect the ball to cut through the wind like it does. And you see the little pirouette by Cowles out there, not how you track a fly ball that goes over your head. And a couple of hops to the wall, and Warden safely at second.
Ohio State got their 2 runs in the top of the 1st. We've been scoreless since. Evan Warden with his 13th 2-bagger of the year. So now you got the 9-hole hitter Powers, corner infielders even with a bat. Trying to lay it down the third base side, and it will go foul, but Noah McGowan maybe breathing a sigh of relief.
It's good presence of mind by McGowan there. He rolls the dice just a bit. This is a hot shot down third base, and if it kind of continues on its normal path, it would have hit the base and been a fair ball.
Tyler Powers, 11 sacrifices this season. Trying to get Warden over any way he can. See if he squares again. 0-1. He does, and he takes a strike. Connor Curlis had thrown first pitch balls to 7 straight batters until this go around with Tyler Powers. Now he's ahead 0-2. Up the ladder, not chasing. Diminutive Tyler Powers, 5'9", 155, and he is from Lafayette, Indiana, Central Catholic High School. Trying to help the Boilers' cause. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And he does help the Boilers' cause. A single to right now. They're going to have to hold the runner, Warden at third. But they will be at the corners.
Well, we've preached about it on and on. If you're going to be a successful team, you have to have bottom of the lineup production. What we've seen so far with Warden and his double to the left field, now a single to right field by Tyler Powers. Good secondary there. See the line drive through. Make the turn at third base just in case there's an errant throw. Good, smart base running.
So the lineup card rolls over back to the top. Harry Shipley 0 for 1. Little check over to first base. Harry Shipley, who has missed just 1 game in 4 seasons. 216 career starts.
He's also a guy that will figure out any way that he can to get on base and help his team. A senior leader, one of 7 seniors of this Boilermaker program, and he's been hit by 16 pitches this season. Amazing stat for his entire career, and he's not afraid to hug up onto home plate and wear one in the front arm if he has to.
Yeah, 16 this season, 74 for his career. The previous Purdue record was 55. And he put that in the rearview mirror a long time ago. More on that. Here's Scott Post.
Well, this is more of a credit to what the job that Mark Wasikowski has done at Purdue. With the 7 seniors, that means they were recruited by the previous coach, and they have bought in to what he's been able to bring, and it's just another testament to this turnaround that the Purdue coach has brought on.
That one misses outside. Yeah, I mean, new coach comes in. You either have the guys that want to be and hop on the train and go with you, and pretty much all of them have with Mark Wasikowski.
Well, it also is a testament to the coaching that you can kind of tailor make your philosophy or instill your philosophy in with existing players who weren't necessarily recruited to play your style. To still seek the athleticism and recognize that each of these guys can still be productive the way you want them to be. I think that's a great showing of what kind of leader and coach Mark Wasikowski is.
Check over. Mark Wasikowski probably feels comfortable over there close to the third base bag where he was in the College World Series in 1992 with Pepperdine as a starting third baseman. Now obviously that was at Rosenblatt, not here at TD Ameritrade Park, but he has experience in Omaha. Foul ground, and that one will reach the seats. Mark Wasikowski was also here as an assistant coach at Arizona as well. Nobody out there on the corners. Here comes a 2-2 from Connor Curlis. Upstairs, full count. Mark Wasikowski even had a hit at RBI in the title game win for Pepperdine that year. Hat tip to our great stats guru Rob Anderson helping us out here this week up in the booth in Omaha. Runner goes for second, and that found the bat of Harry Shipley. So Tyler Powers will have to return to first. So 8 pitches in this at bat. Curlis and Shipley. And here comes the 9th pitch. Ground ball to second. Well, that worked out well since they sent the runner Powers from first. Keeps him out of the double play, Danon, and it brings in Warden for Purdue's first run.
That's an excellent job by Harry Shipley. Good base running displayed by Warden and Powers, but this is a ball just poked right to second base. Normally an easy 4-6-3 double play. And they get the RBI there. That's a nice job. Walking lead and see the ball down and score easily. Evan Warden getting it done, starting this inning off.
23 runs batted in now for Harry Shipley. Now you have another one in scoring position. Tyler Powers at second. Alessandro takes it outside. He walked in the first, but had a little base running blunder down at third base when he got gunned down by Jacob Barnwell.
This park is set up for Nick D'Alessandro to flourish just like their home park at Alexander Field, where the dimensions are large, the field plays big, the wind blows in more times than not, and he's done a nice job hitting gaps.
This time into center field and past Dingler. D'Alessandro has great speed, and he will get all the way to third. A single, and then the air by the center fielder Dingler, and we are tied at 2 apiece.
A great cut at the pitch by D'Alessandro right there. Keeps his head down on the ball with the bat flip, but this, you can see Dingler got a little bit handcuffed in how he was approaching that ball. Really no need to come up strong as he did, and D'Alessandro's able to cruise into third base. Single with an error. The first blip on the day for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
There will be no RBI credited, but it's 2-2 all the same. And you mentioned the air. Ohio State .958 fielding percentage, worst in the conference. Line drive to left. Cowles has it. Tagging at third. D'Alessandro, play at the plate. Got him. So Purdue not able to take the lead. As D'Alessandro, who got caught at third base, now tries to score a couple of innings later, and he's out. Purdue able to tie the game in the third, but it looked like they were going to be able to take the lead. Nick D'Alessandro trying to tag from third on the Skylar Hunter fly to left. Tyler Cowles says no.
Well, Cowles' throw is up the first base line. Didn't think that Jacob Barnwell would be able to get back to home plate and get the tag. And D'Alessandro tags up, good speed. Tries to hook slide around the tag, but that's just a great job by Jacob Barnwell to get the third out.
Before the mid caught him up around the neck. It was close. D'Alessandro, I'm not sure he got the hand in there, but it was closer than I thought at first glance.
Well, as the ball left Cowles' hands out in left field, I was surprised that it was going to be that close as well, but I think we have a replay situation here.
Here's the replay protocol. Look at the bottom bullet. Scoring plays at home. And that's what Mark Wasikowski was coming out to inquire about, whether or not that last play was reviewable.
And because it was a third out and the players scramble off the field, there's really no time to appeal the call until everybody gets back out to their position. But as you see here, line drive out to left field, good strong throw, but up the first base side of home plate, Barnwell looks like he gets him on the shoulder before the hand slides in, but it's really close.
I don't think he hit him there. He got him right there. He's out. It was close, so you're right, because he did not clip him on the hand at first swipe.
He's little bit of an unorthodox slide by D'Alessandro there. Didn't really go in foot first, didn't go in hands first, and they confirmed that it was the correct call.
That's the first review that we have had. And it only took 45 seconds for them to go in, take a look at that, and come back out. But if I'm Mark Wasikowski, I'm doing the same thing. If you're able to review that, why not pop out and have them do it?
Absolutely correct.
4-5-6 coming up in the Ohio State order after that brief delay here in the bottom of the fourth. Top of the fourth, I should say. Pole Cal's Dingler. And a line drive base hit to left off the bat of the designated hitter Connor Pole. So he walked and scored in the first, and now he singles to start off the fourth.
So impressive to see this young man drive the ball. That's that fastball that's worked effectively well for Andrews. Works away from left-handed batters, and he just takes that pitch right where it was pitched. Outside part of the plate, drive it to left field.
And now Cowles, who had the great defensive play in left, he steps in. Remember, he had the 2 RBI double back in the first inning, so he's put his fingerprints all over this game. That just clips the outside corner. 1-1. Inside for strike 2. Tyler Cowles, 2 years at Sinclair Community College in Dayton, Ohio. Now in his second and final season in Columbus. An 11-game hit streak. And he chases that one down. He goes, and then D'Alessandro checks over to make sure Pole stays close.
This is one of the best jobs of the afternoon so far by Tanner Andrews, working both sides of the plate with his fastball, then drops a curveball down out of the zone for the strikeout.
Third strikeout of the game for Andrews. Here's Dylan Dingler, who had the air in center field in the last half inning.
Pole at first base, 4 of 5 in stolen base attempts on the season. Even with the strong arm behind the plate of D'Alessandro, you still have a pitcher in Tanner Andrews that has a high knee kick, a little bit long delivery.
Pole stays put, 0-2 down and away. D'Alessandro sees it squirt out in front, tracks it down, no problem. He's caught 20 would-be base stealers this year, most in the conference.
The only guy that has caught almost as many runners as he's stolen bases.
Yeah.
22 on the season.
Quite a season. And down on strikes goes Dingler. So back-to-back Ks, both of them swinging for Tanner Andrews.
Taking a little bit of a time, but Andrews, especially with that curveball working, 2 consecutive batters where he's dropped that curveball off the table, down out of the zone, and has been successful with it. Finding a rhythm.
All 4 strikeouts swinging, and that one gets by D'Alessandro. You don't see that too often. He throws down to second anyway, and it goes into center field. So he compounds the problem. Be a pass ball and an error in one fell swoop.
And that wasn't a bad throw by D'Alessandro. Tyler Powers at second base. As you see, this ball just goes off his glove. He's trying to frame it in the zone. And he throws a bullet down to second base, and it looked like Powers was trying to get a little quick swipe tag and forgot the ball.
The interesting thing about that is it was a strike. Now it's 1-1. So the potential go-ahead run 90 feet away. The 1-1 to Barnwell. Good stop that time by the catcher. Two-one, fouled away. Jacob Barnwell really came along last year. Struggled early part of the season. Was good in May. But a tough year for Ohio State altogether. And now striking out here. So Tanner Andrews gives up the leadoff single. But then he strikes out Cowles, Dingler, and Barnwell. Big Ten Baseball Tournament on BTN is brought to you by State Farm, official insurance partner of the Big Ten Conference, here to help life go right. And by Dr. Pepper, official soft drink of the Big Ten Conference, the one fans crave. Great day for Dr. Pepper with temperatures right around 90 degrees here in Omaha, Nebraska. We are all even 2-2 as we march on to the bottom of the fourth inning. We're going to go out and Dana Hughes with you, and then games 3 and 4 after us. Scott Pose will go for the dugouts up here to the analyst seat. Dana Hughes will go down to the dugout, and Kevin Kugler will be handling the play-by-play as that one is foul tipped into the mid off the bat of Jackson McGowan, 0-1. Great work by our entire crew so far through a game and a half. Glenn Hallis, Billy Proctor, producer and director, helping to lead the ship. That one foul. 0-2. Purdue so pesky at the plate. They have now fouled off 21 pitches in this game already. .58 pitches, 39 strikes so far for Connor Curlis, and now another ball to his credit.
If you're talking about establishing an identity, often you hear that with football, but I think it also applies to baseball, where the mindset in the dugout, in the clubhouse, amongst the team in regards to the approach in the batter's box, and you go back to that 2012 Purdue Boilermaker team, they used to wear a lot of pitches.
That time swinging and missing. McGowan goes down on strikes for the second time today.
It was like a badge of honor for them to get in the batter's box, never move their feet, own the batter's box. And you see a nice elevated fastball. Again, success with that elevated fastball by Curlis so far in this game. But it was like a contest. Doug Schreiber, the head coach there for the Purdue Boilermakers back then, kind of instilled that kind of mindset that, you know, we own this batter's box, we own this plate, and if a pitcher wants to pitch inside and run the risk of hitting us, we're going to wear it. And they did it in great fashion. One of the top teams overall in the country in wearing pitches. But then you go now, you speed up several years, and Mark Wazakowski has the mindset of, hey, when they throw fastballs and they throw strikes, be up there ready to swing the bats. And nobody's getting cheated. You know, we've had, what, a couple of strikeouts so far in this game, 3 strikeouts in this game so far, or 4, I should say, and one of them was looking. There's another one swinging the bats. You can appreciate that aggressive nature.
Yeah, Barnwell was able to recover the catcher there and throw down to Coolin to retire Ben Nissel. So McGowan and Nissel, normally so good, they have both struck out twice, and the man coming up, Everts, has struck out as well. So the middle 3 in the order, Danon right now 0 for 5 with 5 Ks.
Not putting the ball in play now. McGowan in his first at bat had guys at first and third, and nothing really from there.
Connor Curlis is going to cruise right through the bottom of the fourth with a 10-pitch inning. 2-2 on we go to the 5th inning here in Omaha, Nebraska, TD Ameritrade Park, which was built back in 2011 to take over for Rosenblatt. And the home of the College World Series. But first, the home of the Big Ten tournament this week. Brandon Gunn, Dana Hughes, pleased to be joined by Mark Wasikowski of the Purdue Boilermakers. And Coach, we've been talking a lot about the great turnaround of this program the last couple of years. I'm curious, what was your message just before game one as the 2 seed, a little bit of a different spot than you were last year? What'd you say to the team?
Go for it. You know, I mean, we still have the feeling that people around here think that we're probably the worst team in the world, and we're going to roll that. You know, they picked us to finish 11th at the start of the year, and it's our job to keep proving them wrong.
Coach, talk about proving wrong. This game started a little slowly for Tanner Andrews, but he's kind of settled in. How much longer do you think we'll have him on the mound?
As long as the guy can go. He's a senior. He wants the baseball. Seems to have found his location and a slider here the last couple innings, which is good. Hopefully we can start putting some more productive at-bats together to really string this thing out. It's a good ball game, though, right now.
Okay, Coach. Thank you very much. Kind of gave us that same message last week when they were hosting Michigan, and we were on the same topic. And he said, look, I'm telling these guys, people are doubting you. Keep going, doing your thing.
You got to love I always talked about having great coaches in my college and professional career, even high school career, having great influences from the coaching position. And I've always said, the best coaches are the best brainwashers. They make you believe something. Sometimes it may not even believe something that, you ever had come into your mind. And, you can tell from his intensity, he's got those guys believing that they, always on the short end, and that, their backs are always against the wall. And, hey, we didn't have any first team all-conference players, and we're a 2 seed, and all those different things and ways to get the most out of your players.
Nice stretch by Jackson McGowan at first base. So Bo Coolin goes down swinging. That's now 4 consecutive strikeouts for Tanner Andrews and 6 overall in the game.
Well, Coach alluded to it right there. He said this is a senior. He wants the ball. He wants to relish this opportunity. Who knows how many more opportunities will come. And after that tough first inning, he's really stepped his game up.
Nick D'Alessandro got a piece of that. He's shaken up. Hit him in the face mask.
Curveball. Not a bad swing there. Just gets underneath it and clips it right underneath that face mask.
It's been a rough game for Nick D'Alessandro. Got caught at third base, thrown out at the plate. He's a tough kid, though. Maybe now he just needs some time as he walks out to talk to his hurler.
He comes from a great athletic family. His dad was an all Big Ten, All-American catcher for the Fighting Illini. Player of the Year, I believe, in 1990. Played against him. His mom, a great college softball player.
Good genes, no doubt about it. Junior from Plainfield, Illinois. And he's back behind the dish for the 0-1 offering from Tanner Andrews to Noah West. Line drive over the glove of Evan Warden down the left field line. Big turn, but he will hold it first, Noah West, with a single.
It's a nice job by the shortstop getting a quality swing, pitch down and in, drives it over the head of the third baseman Warden, and breaks up the 4 straight strikeouts by Andrews with a single.
Between the two pitchers, we've had 11 strikeouts total so far. We are only in the top of the 5th. Aggressive at bats continue. Dominic Canzone, he struck out, he's grounded out, and he fouls that one off.
We initially thought, because of how this game started for the Buckeyes, scoring 2 runs in the top half of the first inning, that we weren't going to see necessarily a pitcher's duel, but it has developed to be that.
Runner goes, bounced right side. Andrews has to cover. Got him. Well, tumbled at first base on the collision. Hopefully everybody's okay. Just as I say that, Dominic Canzone moving gingerly.
This is an unorthodox way to cover first base. Tanner Andrews has to try to track down the ground ball. It's called off by the first baseman there, and then he has to go and cover, so he doesn't necessarily know where he is. He actually covers the whole front part of the base. Doesn't allow Canzone an area to get to first base and step on it. And it looked like he stepped on Andrews' foot right there and may have twisted his ankle.
So the right fielder Canzone limps into the dugout. And Paul Dawson, the athletic trainer, having a look at him over there as Kobe Foppe now comes in and takes a strike.
There's nothing ill-intentional about that from Andrews. He's just trying to cover the base after scrambling for that ground ball. Normally you'll see a pitcher kind of work his way up the first base line. That's just one of those plays, and it's unfortunate for Canzone. Hopefully he's not injured too much and he can bounce back.
0-1, 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. 2 down. The runner at second is Noah West. I mentioned the 2 runs for Ohio State in the first. Purdue got 2 back in the third. Stopped by D'Alessandro. We'll have to see if Dominic Canzone, after the stumble at first, can return to the field in the bottom of this inning, because the way he was moving toward that dugout, and even the movements in the dugout, didn't look too great. Tanner Andrews 1-2. Just missing outside.
Very good location for a 1-2 pitch. Don't want it to be in the zone, but don't make it appetizing enough. Try to entice the batter to go swinging after, go fishing.
He's really calmed down after that 27-pitch first inning. Pretty much the same location.
Well, you know you're dialed in when you can go 2 consecutive pitches, 2 different pitches, the fastball the first time, that time's a curveball. Will hit the location right on point. Good plate discipline by Foppe.
First base open, full count. Noah McGowan would be next. But I don't think we're going to get to Noah McGowan. Tyler Powers throws on to Jackson McGowan, and the inning is over. We'll talk to Greg Beals, the skipper of Ohio State, on the other side. Dominic Canzone, despite the collision, will stay in the game to play right field as we go to the home half of the 5th. And 8th-year skipper Greg Beals, kind enough to join us from the Ohio State dugout.
Thanks, guys.
So Canzone a little shaken up there, but it seems like Coach is going to be able to stay in the game.
Yeah, I got a little Charlie horse there. It's loosening up. Hopefully it continues to loosen back up for him so he can stay in the game for us. Big part of our offense.
Well, Coach, you talk about the offense and Canzone being a complete part. How about defensively, specifically with Connor Curlis and what he's been able to do in this game?
Well, I like what he's doing right now. You know, he's able to elevate that fastball and hit with his off-speed stuff down in the zone. If he can continue to have that combination, he's going to continue to be tough on their hitters.
All right, Coach, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, guys.
He's got 5 strikeouts so far, Connor Curlis.
Now, here's the reason why I like Greg Beals. He's a man in my generation, because nobody outside of our generation says Charlie horse anymore. So when you use Charlie horse, you're speaking my language. So me and him are on the same page. I like that. There's some kids out there that probably don't even know what a Charlie horse is.
Hey, I know what a Charlie horse is.
Do you know what a Charlie?
Yeah,
You're a
absolutely.
youngster.
I know what a Charlie horse is. Greg Beals turned 48 back on February 9th. But you're only 32. There's a line drive, base hit to left field off the bat of Alec Olin, who has been hot for the Boilermakers down the stretch.
Nice job by Olin. And to your fuzzy math, yeah, I'll be 32. That's all right.
32 or 33, I don't know. I lost count.
Can I be 32 with a 31-year-old daughter?
Sure. Oh. Back to baseball.
Yes.
Great swing, though. Alec Olin, I mentioned that he's been really, really heated up. He's hitting over 400 the last 20 games.
Well, he's second on this team, actually leads this team in batting coming into this game at 345 batting average. And he's a senior, another guy that has been around this program and seen the downs and now is seeing the ups and has been a key contributor.
Evan Warden very good at laying bunts down, and he lays one here back to the mound. Curlis thought about second but goes for the sure out. So Warden has a double and a sacrifice bunt.
Well, the contribution never stops at the bottom of the lineup. 1 through 9 for the Boilermakers. They seem to figure out ways to get the job done. And prior at-bats for both Warden and Powers, they get a double and a single and scored both runs. Now they're called on in a different role, and Warden gets his job done.
Now, as you mentioned, Powers, who singled in the third, comes up here. He started 21 of the 24 Big Ten games at second base. He has found a home in Mark Wasikowski's lineup. Good athletic family. Sister Lindsay plays volleyball at Eastern Illinois. As I mentioned, they're a family from Lafayette, Indiana, so they know Purdue very well. That pitch missing.
You notice prior to that first offering by Curlis, he faked a pickoff move to second base. He was successful in picking off a runner for Michigan State last weekend in their final series, where Michigan State needed to win that series or at least have one game more won that weekend than Maryland, and they were able to accomplish that to get the final seed in this tournament. Curlis was able to successfully pick a guy off at second base.
See Michigan State, Minnesota a little later. 2 more games after this. And then the other game, Illinois and Indiana in the 4-5 contest. Powers able to stay alive. Speaking of the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the top seed. Talked about it earlier, Dana. Patrick Fredrickson, freshman and pitcher of the year, and John Anderson, coach of the year.
So deserved. I don't know if there's a better resume than John Anderson, what he's been able to accomplish over 37 years coaching that Golden Gopher program. He's put out some star players. He's gotten great production from young players like he is with Fredrickson and several others. He's been a joy to watch, to be around.
Those baseball awards presented by State Farm, official insurance partner of the Big Ten Conference. You just don't see guys staying around almost 4 decades anymore in any sport at the collegiate level. That one found the bat of Powers, but it trickles foul. Purdue's 2 runs in the 3rd inning tied us up, and we've been there ever since.
You watch Powers in the batter's box, particularly his swing. He has a little bit of a late swing, casts it just a bit. So when fastballs get in on him, he gets jammed or maybe punches them out to right field. But like we saw early on, he got his single with a hanging curveball at off speed that he was able to drive.
1-2 here, and he fights it off again.
So fastballs are going to work to the right side when Powers is up. And off speed is where, especially from the left-handed Curlis, where he may be able to drive something to center field and left field.
He's battled off 5 straight pitches. Olin in scoring position at second. Line drive, base hit, but that was hit so sharply that Alec Olin cannot score. Runners at the corners.
I stand corrected. That's a fastball, 85 miles an hour, down the heart of the plate. And a lot of credit to Powers. 2 for 2 on the afternoon. A good balanced swing here. Hits the knob through the zone, and the bat, or the barrel of the bat follows. Nice job of hitting. Great at bat.
He was listening to your comments. He's got an earpiece.
Trying to prove me wrong up here. Last weekend against Michigan, I was Nostradamus. Now I'm just no.
Now you're just
no.
Just no. You're just no. You know. They're at the corners now, top of the order. Harry Shipley. Chance to break this game, this tie, as they send the runner to second. This time there will be no throw down there, so that breaks up the potential double play.
Well, this is the difference here, is that last time when they were able to backpick Nick D'Alessandro at third base, they did not fake the bunt. So here with the fake bunt, the third baseman McGowan is crashing. Nobody's back there to cover third for the back pick. So nice execution of a delayed steal with the fake bunt.
Fouled back to the netting.
In-game adjustments to your game plan. Employing the run game, keeping your foot on the gas pedal, but making those little slight adjustments so you can be successful.
Harry Shipley and an RBI ground out back in the third. This one almost hit him. Think about how many times he's been plunked by a pitch in his career. 74. 2-1. Those are the Ironmen. All the games played. Just one missed between them.
You think Nick gives him a little ribbing about that?
Yeah. Where were you on May 7th of 2016 against Northwestern?
I know where I was.
The 2-1 from Connor Curlis. And comes inside again. So 3-1. They do have first base open, but it doesn't get any easier with D'Alessandro on deck.
And you notice Harry Shipley in the batter's box, there's no movement. He's not shying away from any ball that's up and in. And to me, that can get into the head of an opposing pitcher that know that you have to be careful trying to work on the inside part of the plate.
Goes inside, and he got the strike.
It's a good, strong fastball, good pitch. Absolutely handcuffed Shipley there.
Tough kid, a smart kid, pre-med at Purdue. Harry Shipley, the senior from Fishers, Indiana. The payoff. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. Olin scores. Powers will be held at third, but Purdue has their first lead, 3-2.
Excellent two-strike hitting by the leadoff batter, the table setter for the Boilermakers. The senior drives the ball back up the middle, left-handed. Curlis follow through towards third base. No chance to field that ball. And with the shallow outfield and Dingle relatively close to the infield, really no chance of the runner Powers scoring from second base.
So 2 runs in the third and now 1 in the fifth. And Connor Curlis, who's sitting at 82 pitches, is about to get a mound visit. And 24 pitches back in the first inning, 20 in the third, and now 16 so far here in the fifth. Eighth-year pitching coach Mike Stafford just wants to bring in the whole infield for a little meeting as the action continues in the bullpen. Mahalik is up and loosening.
Stafford, another man that's been around their program for a long period of time.
He's been the pitching coach for Greg Beals the last 15 seasons. He's elevated associate head coach January as we get an updated look at the bracket presented by Discover. Again, the winner will face Michigan, who got the victory over Iowa in 10 innings, and the loser will be in an elimination game early tomorrow morning against Iowa. A little more offense here than the first game, but really all in all, offense has been at a premium.
Every team's got their day one starter.
In this game, it's Curlis against Tanner Andrews. Here's D'Alessandro with a chance to add to that Purdue lead, but he swings and misses.
Shipley at first base has a pretty big, very aggressive lead at first base with the left-handed pitcher Curlis there.
There you go. They check over. You know why I like Nick D'Alessandro, though? Because when he's on the bus, he says his favorite movies to watch are the Rocky series. See, that's when you know you got a tough kid behind the plate. Runner breaks for second. Line drive right to Bo Coolin. And the side is retired. Tough luck for Nick D'Alessandro and the Boilermakers. However, they do take the lead. It's 3-2. 5 innings gone by. Party got started early for Ohio State. Tyler Cowles, 2 RBI double to the gap. Brought in Poppy and Pohl. Third inning, Purdue would respond. This would bring in 1 to make it 2-1, and then the single to center by Nick D'Alessandro went through the legs of Dingler. And that allowed the runner Powers to come in and score easily. And then the hit last inning, giving Purdue their first lead of the game, and that's where we stand right now, 3-2 as we move to the 6th at TD Ameritrade Park. Back in the center of the diamond with 6 strikeouts so far is Tanner Andrews, dealing to Noah McGowan. Noah McGowan grounding to the third baseman Evan Ward. He's 0 for 3 is Noah McGowan, and his brother Cole is here from Texas. Surprised him during pregame. He hasn't seen him play yet as a Buckeye, and unfortunately he's seen his brother Noah ground out 3 times to start the tournament.
We went through those graphics of all the scoring that's been done in this game, and Ohio State has been pretty darn quiet since that first inning. Give credit to Tanner Andrews really settling in, and as Coach Mark Wazakowski noted, he's going to be out there until he pretty much wants to come out. Going upon his 77th pitch in this game. That first inning was tough.
Ground ball to Tyler Powers. Well, this is why the pitch count is down. He's throwing strikes and trusting that defense.
That's what you have to do, and we talked about it earlier. There's a fine line between being too fine and competing out there, and there's times where I thought earlier in this game he was trying too fine or too much to hit his spots, and instead of just going out there and being a pitcher.
This could be another quick inning. 1, 2, 3, 5 pitches in the top of the 6th. Tanner Andrews rolling. CenturyLink Center, great basketball facility where great Blue Jays play their home game. That sits beyond the outstretched wall here at TD Ameritrade Park. The College World Series since 2011. 3-4-5 due up for Purdue, and the first pitch at the bottom of the 6th is delivered into left field. Skylar Hunter with his 2nd hit of the game.
Hunter staying hot in this game. Sophomore coming through 2 of 3 on the day so far. Another hard hit ball to left field. Switch hitter, batting right-handed, plus with the left-handed Curlis. Good strong swing.
He's the switch hitter, Shipley the left-handed hitter, and then everybody else in the Purdue order batting from the right side, including this man Jackson McGowan, who has struck out twice. Curlis deals low to the junior from Brownsburg, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. Five for his last 45, Jackson McGowan, really trying to break out of that slump.
And you see this angle, Curlis has the ability and shows the ability to curl over his right foot. So when he is going home, the rule as far as a balk is if your foot crosses the rubber, you have to go home. Your knee can cross the rubber and still go over to first base. That one he did the step-off move, but once his foot comes up, watch how it curls over right there. So that's a little bit of a tell for a base runner that he's not going to employ a pickoff move. He should be able to get a pretty solid jump against the left-handed curlers because of that little quirk.
Skylar Hunter, decent-sized lead. Bo Coolin over there keeping him on. Plate word high and outside, so he's behind here 3-0. And without Tanner Andrews is settling in for Purdue, you're just getting the sense that Ohio State can't afford to give up much more here. Trio misses. So for Jackson McGowan, who's in a big slump, sees himself get on base there with a 4-pitch walk. He's drawn a league-high 48 walks, 10 more than anybody else in the conference.
Ever since he had a 2-home-run day against Maryland earlier this season, it seemed like more times than not, pitchers were trying to pitch around him. That opened the door up for production for other guys behind him, like Nissel and Everts.
It'll be Nissel that's up next, but he's going to face a new pitcher. Connor Curlis will make it into the 6th inning, but will not escape it. He won't even record it out, and they're going to the pen. Connor Curlis goes 5+, does not record it out in the 6th, and now they need Kyle Mahalik to come in for damage control.
This is a tough situation for Mahalik to come into. You see his numbers, 24 strikeouts to just 10 walks, but he's going to be a guy that he's going to throw in the low 80s. But very effective because he comes from that submarine position. Has a sinker and a slider. So a lot of movement on his pitches.
Both of these teams, Ohio State and Purdue, hoping to be a part of the NCAA tournament, even if they can't win the Big Ten tournament. Ohio State with the RPI of 41 and Purdue 40, right there neck and neck, Dana.
Yeah, there's several teams, and Scott Post talked about it earlier about the teams that are in so far in the NCAA tournament, and I think you can make an argument for every one of those teams. They play tough schedules. The weather has been extremely tough for each of these programs in the Midwest, but yet they've grinded it out, and an argument even all the way down to Iowa. Make a case there as well. So hopefully those decision makers will recognize the abilities and resumes of each team in the Big Ten and will get well represented.
One case study is Michigan last year went 0-2 in the Big Ten tournament, had an RPI right around that same spot as these two, and did get in the tournament. One of the last 4 teams in a season ago. So Mahalik will try and get Ben Nissel here, who has grounded into 6 double plays this season.
I have to believe that Nissel's going to be dropping down a bunt.
Nissel already squares as Mahalik looks at second. Now in the 2016 Big Ten tournament, Mahalik did have 3 appearances and did not give up a single run in 6 innings.
Well, the defense employed here by the Buckeyes, they're going to crash the first baseman, Coolin. And unless it's a hard bunted ball down the third base line, McGowan will hold his spot there at third base just in case they try to fake bunt steal or double steal with the 2 runners on base.
Squaring again. The 1-0 was way outside. And the 1-1, did he offer it that? They will say no. Ball 2. On deck, Evan Kennedy has grabbed a bat.
You see right here, ooh, it looked like he may have jabbed at it just a bit. You also notice Bo Coolin, when that ball crosses the plate, he's probably about 10 feet away from home plate.
This time he lays it down beautifully. The throw to first, so third sacrifice of the season for the left fielder, Ben Nissel. That moves Hunter to third and McGowan to second.
Nice job getting his job done. You notice he drops that back knee, keeps his entire body and his eye level in the strike zone, and just watches the ball hit the bat. Nice job by the freshman.
Evan Kennedy, I mentioned, was in the on-deck circle. And he will come in and bat for Nick Everts in the DH slot. This is a very common thing for Purdue. They start these guys based on who is on the mound, and now that there's a righty pitching, they bring in Kennedy. And they're going to walk him, load him up, and set up that potential inning-ending double play.
Smart approach. Also, Evan Kennedy has been hot as of late. Had a solid weekend against Michigan last weekend, and but this is smart baseball here. Load the bases up and have your corners in to play for a play at home plate, and the middle infielders back for double play depth. Hopefully induce a ground ball.
That will mean that Alec Oland will come up with the bases loaded after the walk to Evan Kennedy. Ohio State at one point led 2-0. Both of those runs came back in the first. Purdue got 2 in the third, 1 in the fifth, and now they are threatening big time at the bottom of the sixth. We'll have a pinch runner over there at first base. Charlie Nasuti is going to pinch run. So Kennedy, big day for him. Intentionally walked and right back to the dugout. Here's Alec Oland. Popped out, singled and scored. Grounded foul just ahead of it. Hitting over 400 in the last 21 games for Purdue. Had a shoulder injury in December. Could only be a pinch runner until the late stages of March. He's gotten better as the year has gone, and this time he is behind 0-2 after fouling that away. Deals ground ball. Great stop by Bo Coolin to second for one. That's the only out they will get. And a great play at first base by Bo Coolin. However, it's now 4-2 Purdue.
Nice job indeed. He's in on the grass, closer to home plate, has to react quickly. Thought maybe he'd had a better chance of getting the out at home plate. Jacob Barnwell was calling for that ball. Probably would have gotten the out at home plate and kept the bases loaded with 2 outs, but opted to go to second. I think because he's diving, he's a left-handed first baseman. That's where his body is pretty much pointing, so no bad decision there at all, but probably if you had to go back and do it over again, trying to chop down the guy at home plate was probably the better play.
Instinctively was probably hoping for somehow getting a double play at second and back at first, but they could not get that done. So 4-2. With runners at the corners. Evan Warden. Double back in the third, the sac bunt in the fifth. That sac bunt was Purdue's 43rd of the season, most of the Big Ten. one in his wheelhouse, and he sends it into center field. Another run is home as Jackson McGowan scores. It's 5-2 Boilermakers.
How about the day of the bottom three guys in the lineup, whether they have scored or been responsible for the other 2 runs? 5 runs scored, 3 of them by the bottom three. As you see, Warden gets another grooved pitch, drives right out into center field for another RBI.
Exactly right, though, Dana. Nolan, Warden, and Powers have been spectacular. Warden now at first base. He has driven in his 24th run of the season, and here's the 9-hole hitter, Tyler Powers. Pulls the bat back, takes it high. And don't be fooled. Tyler Powers, he will lay down a bunt anytime, any place.
Trying to catch him sleeping a little bit there with a double steal, possible bunt. I don't think Olin got a good jump at second base.
Shows bunt again and pulls it back again. Same result. Now Mahalik squats down for the 2-0, and that one is grooved in. Ohio State showed their RPI of 41, 9 top 50 wins. They are hoping, though, to get a couple big wins here to feel better about their case. But down 5-2 right now. 2-1 outside, backhand stop by Jacob Barnwell. Bottom third of the order, 5 for 7, 3 runs in. Tyler Powers with a chance to add to those numbers. Three and 2.
Not a bad pitch by Mahalik there. You see a little bit of tail back into the zone with that fastball. Movement is the key for him.
And the runners can be on the go. 3-2, 2 outs. Pitch misses. Bases loaded. Good day for Powers. 2 singles and a walk. So Kyle Mahalik will now deal with the top of the order. And the left-handed batter, Harry Shipley. Three appearances in 2016 were a little bit kinder in the Big Ten tournament to Kyle Mahalik. Though he inherited a tough spot, and it just gets tougher as that plugs the right center field gap off the bat of Harry Shipley. 2 runs are in. They'll try for 3. Safe. Everybody scores. And it's 8-2 Purdue all of a sudden in the bottom of the 6th.
Production, bottom of the lineup production. A great hit by Harry Shipley, and we questioned whether Dominic Canzone was full speed. You can see him laboring out in right field after that well-hit ball into the gap. An excellent hustle on the base pass by Powers and Warden.
That's a good point, Dana. That's the first test that Canzone has had out in right field, and he could not move well indeed. And D'Alessandro bounces back to the mound, but the damage is done. 9 men come to the plate. 5 score. It's 8-2. Shipley really opened this game up. 3 RBI double there. And the bottom of the 6th, jumping from 5-2 to 8-2 as we go to the 7th. Mark Wasikowski has to be feeling pretty good all of a sudden.
Very good indeed. You see the production over the last 4 innings, 3 of the last 4 innings, scoring those 8 runs. That's what you know about the Boilermakers. They just continue on. They grind out at bats. They are aggressive in the batter's box, and there's just no let up in their game.
We had 10 runs here. We only had 3 runs total in game 1 when Michigan beat Iowa 2-1 in 10 innings of play. And Tanner Andrews just continues to roll. A ground out to Tyler Powers. That's now 5 straight, make it 6 straight ground outs for Ohio State hitters.
You wouldn't have guessed that Tanner Andrews would still be in this game at this juncture based on his first inning and how that went. But he's gotten his command back and getting those rollover ground balls.
This grounder foul. Top of the 6th inning on your wristwatch lasted 1 minute and 45 seconds, and then they got 6 runs at the bottom of the 5th, so Tanner Andrews was in the dugout for a while. Comes back out ready to go. Foul tip. That one got a piece of the home plate umpire David Ewell. A wake-up call in the 7th inning, never fun. He says, I'm good, I'm tough.
See his buddies coming to check on him and gives him the Heisman, tell him to go back to his position. Tough man back there.
Great crew. He and brother Mark down at third base, and then Josh Shepis and Michael Conlon at second and first. 4 umpires. He couldn't stop the bat. They'll check, but he went. Jacob Barnwell down on strikes for the 2nd time. That is 7 strikeouts on the game for Tanner Andrews.
Changing up speeds, hitting his spots. There's that curveball. We've seen him have success throughout this game with that same pitch. He's been down in the dirt a couple of times, but it's usually off the plate, and he gets the K.
Bo Coolin, he was also a strikeout victim of Andrews in the 5th. He's 0 for 2. Chopper, left side. Coming over, Warden. Yet again, a 1-2-3 inning, 8 pitches in stretch time at Omaha. If you're sad because you think the day's over after Ohio State, Purdue, smile. There's 2 more. Minnesota, Michigan State, then Illinois and Indiana, the nightcap. 4 games today. And 4 tomorrow as well here on BTN. And a new pitcher for Ohio State. Mahalik struggled on the mound, and now it's Yanni Pavlopoulos to take over.
Well, he's been around this program for several years, a senior, a guy that has been called upon in tough situations to make plays, and they're looking for him to stop this devastating offense of the Purdue Boilermakers at this point.
Yanni was the winning pitcher in the 2016 title game here. You mentioned that he's been around for a few years, a few good years.
Yes. Very strong throughout his career. Great career for that young man. One of the guys that could bring some experience from 2016 as well as 2017 being a down year.
There's the run that they made. 4 straight after that loss to Iowa on Friday. Even a 10-inning game when they beat Michigan State in that evening session on Saturday.
Those 2 Iowa games, that tournament, were special. That last one, the championship.
Line drive, center field. Skylar Hunter started off the 6th inning with a base hit, and now he begins the 7th inning the same way.
And for the first time of the day, he gets to switch back around to his left side and is zoned in just like he was from the right side of the batter's box, just past Noah West at shortstop. And again, Skylar Hunter getting things going.
Jackson McGowan, he struck out twice. He walked and scored last inning. Downstairs 1-0. Mentioned he's from Brownsburg, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. A lot of baseball talent has come out of there. Drew Storen, Lance Lynn, Tucker Barnhart, all Major League Baseball players from that area. .0 is nowhere near. 2 balls and no strikes. Skyler Hunter on first base, 4th game this year that he's had 3 or more hits. He's had 8 of those in his career. State looked so comfortable and confident in the first after grabbing the 2-0 lead, but my, how the tables have turned, especially after that 5-run 6th inning. Ground ball, base hit right side. So McGowan 5 for his last 45, and maybe that'll help him break out of the slump.
Well, we've seen the game plan throughout this game. Every time Jackson McGowan was up at the plate, he tried to work on the outside part. He made the adjustment, not trying to do too much with that pitch, and drove it out in the right field. It's a good job of hitting.
Last inning, they got the first 2 on, and Ben Nissel sacrificed them over, and that's the same spot we find ourselves in here in the 7th. This time, though, he keeps the bat on the shoulder and takes it for a strike. He does square this time and then takes it back as the pitch rises up and in.
Coach Mark Wasikowski at third base. One of the few coaches, head coaches, that does man the coach's box at third base in the Big Ten. He and Rick Heller, a few others. Looking to get the run game going.
Bat on the shoulder, 2-1. Charlie Nasuti, who pinch ran last inning, is on deck and scheduled to hit next in the DH slot. As Pavlopoulos tries to settle down here. 3-1, a walk would load him. Purdue playing in their first ever game in Omaha. The program has never played a game here until today. They have played 6 games over in Lincoln against the Cornhuskers since they've come into the conference, but never here until today. Full count.
You and I mentioned last weekend when the Boilermakers were hosting the Michigan Wolverines that I thought that Purdue was one of the more scary teams coming into the tournament because of the way they play, because of the production that they've had. And now you're getting pitching, the performance, what you're seeing from Tanner Andrews, makes it very difficult.
Line drive, base hit. The Purdue offense continues to explode. Holding at third, Skyler Hunter with nobody out there loaded.
13th hit of the afternoon for the Boilermakers. And all pretty solidly hit. You see right here, Nissel Gets that pitch up in the zone, turns on it. Smart base running to hold everyone to 90 feet.
Milo Beam will come in and pinch run. Milo Beam also an outfielder, so he figures to step into the outfield and spot up Ben Nissel. High fives all around in the dugout. Back-to-back-to-back singles as Purdue tries to tack on even more here in the 7th. So first at bat for Charlie Nasuti. With the bases loaded this year, 1 for 5, 3 runs driven in. First pitch swinging, pops it up. And this will be an infield fly rule. So Nasuti unable to produce, 1 away.
Not often do you say we're coming upon the more dangerous part of the lineup when you're talking about the 7, 8, 9 hole hitter, but with 1 out here in the 7th inning, Alec Olin, one of the more hot players for this Boilermaker team.
Drove in a run last inning, had the single in the 5th, so they're still loaded. Yanni Pavlopoulos trying to work his way out of a jam down the right field line. This one will go foul. So we've seen 3 Ohio State pitchers. A little more action going right now with Curtis Irving in the bullpen. Hunter at third, McGowan at second, Beam at first. Took something off. Olin was out in front. Game 1 today, we only had 6 total hits. Iowa only had 1. No one has ever been no hit in the Big Ten tournament. There have been 3 one-hitters like we saw earlier. And 13 hits, as you mentioned, for Purdue, 5 for Ohio State in this game. Called strike. And down goes Alec Olin.
Nice job here. Curveball breaks off the table on the outside part of the plate. That's what they've become accustomed to seeing from Pavlopoulos. That kind of demonstration on the mound. Good control, command of his pitches, all 3 pitches. And gets a necessary second out.
Evan Warden, RBI single last inning, had a double earlier in the game as well. He's 2 for 5 this year with the bases loaded. Pavlopoulos pitches up and in. 2-0. Yanni Pavlopoulos needs to find the strike zone here. Ground ball toward the middle. Close play. Got him. Excellent effort by Kobe Foppe. Sliding in glove first to beat the runner Milo Beam. And because of that effort, Ohio State keeps Purdue off the board in the 7th. On to the 8th, 8-2 in game 2 of 4 today here on BTN of the Big Ten tournament. Alongside Dana Hughes, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Producer Glenn Hallis, director Billy Proctor. The first pitch of the 8th inning is popped to the right side of the infield. Battling the sun, Tyler Powers takes it. Noah West is 1 for 3. Tanner Andrews I mean, look at the out distribution. 13 groundouts, 7 strikeouts, 1 pop-out. But the thing he's done since the first inning is just throw strikes.
Yeah, he's thrown strikes, and we talked about what he brings in his arsenal earlier in the game. And after that first inning, you can see his total numbers, 60 strikes to just 27 balls. Inducing ground balls, keeping the ball low in the zone, but when he elevates his fastball, he's getting the pop-ups and the easy outs.
He had 6 pitches outside of the strike zone since the start of the 5th inning. And just as I say that, that one misses barely. 1-1.
Two identical pitches right there. Doesn't get the call. 2-1 count.
That one fouled back just below us, 2-2.
You got to make that play, Brandon.
I need a fish net. Milo Beam stays in left.
Sacrifice your body. We've seen Evan Warden take a ball off his mouth.
Where were you? That was closer to you.
See, you're a finger pointer. I see that. We would never be able to exist on the same team.
You know,
pointing fingers.
Here's the thing, though. Here's how we know that I'm tougher. You brought your glove. If a ball comes up here, I'm bare-handing that baseball. Okay?
Yes.
You're ducking under the table. That one way too far away for us to grab here over toward the concourse. I am excited, though, about large booth, open air. I hold out hope that one comes our way. This is hit well to right. Alec Olin drifting back. Still drifting. And the wind blowing in from right field holds that baseball up. So Nate Roman's first at bat in the spot of Dominic Calzone. And it's the second out of the inning, and we are up here in our great perch here in Omaha. Brandon Gaudin, Dana Hughes. We lost the jackets. Hope you don't mind. This temperature's up around 90 degrees.
A little relaxed. We're all right.
Kobe Foppe now the batter. It's a great day in Omaha, though. We'll take this for day one weather, that's for sure. Foul ground. Is there room for McGowan? Yes, there is. Tanner Andrews doing his thing. Ohio State hasn't had a base runner since the 5th inning. Bottom 3 in that order, Dana, as you've documented and produced. The top half is produced as well. Really, everybody up and down. Tyler Powers comes in leading off, 2 of 2 here as he steps into the 8th. And grounds out on one easy hop to Noah McGowan. So now he's 2 for 3.
I am a little bit surprised by the continued aggressive nature of the Buckeyes on the offensive side in the batter's box. You think that with Tanner Andrews' pitches pitch count getting up there, you might start seeing a little bit more patience in the batter's box, especially down by 6 runs at this juncture. But they're continuing to stay with the same game plan they came into this game with. They just haven't had any success.
Come into the tournament, Ohio State losing 4 of the last 6. You mentioned the Friday, Saturday losses at Michigan State. Well, this is now 7 straight games that they've given up 6 runs or more. As Purdue got 5 in the 6th to make it 8-2 against Greg Beal's squad. And Purdue, well, either one of these teams would have, but if Purdue could hang on, you really got to love 35 wins. He had another win over a top 50 RPI opponent here today by beating number 41 Ohio State. It would really help their case. But Mark Wasikowski a couple weeks ago was saying, yeah, you got to credit what we're doing, but he also likes the leadership at the top of the athletic department. A couple years ago, Purdue brought in a great AD by the name of Mike Babinski, and he said first day that Mike Babinski walked into the staff meeting, as this is grounded on one hop to Cooling for the second out. He said Mike Babinski came in and said, I don't want anybody here in West Lafayette talking about second place. We will make investments. We will do what we need to do. We're going to do it the right way, but we're going to compete for championships. And you look at the football program, the basketball program, and now baseball, what they're doing, he certainly has followed suit.
That's what you like to hear. If you're a coach, you know you have to impact young men. You have to recruit smart. But you want to have the backing of your athletic department. So I'm sure that was music to the ears of Mark Wasikowski to know that he had a boss that had that same vision.
Absolutely. And by all counts, just as good of a guy to be around as he is an athletic director, Mike Babinski, and things go in the right direction there in West Lafayette. 2 outs, nobody on, bottom of the 8th. Nick D'Alessandro, the batter. I am curious to see if Mark Wasikowski turns to his closer, or does he stick with Andrews in the 9th inning?
I think that's the big question to me. You give your senior pitcher an opportunity to get a complete game in the Big Ten tournament. You know, if he allows a couple of runners, maybe you take him out. But there's no bad decision. You are in a great position, up 8-2, the home team, with your starter still on the mound and dominating.
And there's a walk. D'Alessandro will stroll down to first. Second time he's been walked in this game. For Tanner Andrews, today's his 37th start. Only one complete game, which was March of last year against Southeast Missouri State. We'll see. Just there in the dugout. See if he comes back out for the 9th. But first, Purdue has Skylar Hunter coming to the plate. Runner breaks for second and steals it easily. D'Alessandro, 23 stolen bases. He continues to further his lead over every other catcher in the country in that department.
Well, had a very aggressive lead and an easy steal right here. No doubt about it. Cruised in safely. And you wondered right after he got walked, when he got to first base, whether he was going to get going on the base paths. Up 6 runs, you don't want to run into a situation where you might get injured. Play it safe. No way. Not the Boilermakers.
Aggressive, aggressive, aggressive. Skylar Hunter, the batter, hoping for his second career 4-hit game, or 4-hit game, I should say. He had one in February this year against Western Michigan. And he has 3 hits right now. But he won't get there. Foul tipped into the mid of Jacob Barnwell. On we go to the 9th. Boilermakers by a half dozen. Game recap to this point. Tanner Andrews has been in command on the mound ever since giving up 2 runs in the first inning. He struck out 7 since then. And the big crooked number on the board came in the 6th. Purdue would score 5 runs, including the bases clearing 3 RBI double by Harry Shipley. That got us to this point. And going for his second complete game, Tanner Andrews returns to the hill to face 3-4-5. And he hits Noah McGowan promptly right in the back. That one just slipped out of the right hand of Andrews.
Pretty much his first mistake pitch of the afternoon, and like you said, he got away from him, and he'll settle back in. But such an impressive afternoon for Tanner Andrews. He can afford one mishap.
Yeah, outside of that, been pretty darn good. It's the first runner since the 5th inning. 13 straight had been retired until McGowan got plunked. So now Connor Pohl. An 87-mile-per-hour offering for a strike. It's the 99th pitch of the game for Tanner Andrews.
I believe Scott Pose mentioned earlier when we first went down to him about how this is a team effort. The Boilermakers adopting that kind of mindset. We even mentioned about them feeling slighted. No player on a second-ranked team, a second-seeded team, I should say, making first or second all Big Ten. A total team effort, and that's what we're seeing here. 8 of the 9 guys in the lineup have gotten hits. The DH position is the only one that had not.
And this could be a tailor-made double play, and it is 6-3. Harry Shipley caught it, stepped right there on the bag, and throws over to Jackson McGowan.
Talk about being in the zone. This pitch is driven right back up the middle, and although Tanner Andrews could have fielded that ball, he recognized that he had a better chance of Shipley getting to it and just let it pass the mound and got the 6-3 double play. All the good bounces are in favor of Andrews.
9th double play that he has been able to induce opposing hitters into this year. Tyler Cowles is the final hope, and he keeps the game alive with a single to right center. Remember, he had the 2 RBI double way back in the first for Ohio State.
It's a nice job. Good afternoon for Cowles. Double in the first. The second hit of the afternoon just now.
It's the 10th straight start that Tanner Andrews has thrown at least 95 pitches. Now he sits at 103. Very durable arm. His only other complete game, as I said, March of 2017 against Southeast Missouri State. Now he's trying to get his second one and his first ever in Big Ten play here against the Buckeyes. The 1-1 to Dylan Dingler. 2-1. Single back in the first. Since then, he's struck out. He's grounded out. Freshman from the Buckeye State is now ahead 3-1.
See the numbers on the screen. Tanner Andrews coming upon his 108th pitch. That last pitch was 91 miles an hour, so still a lot of gas in his tank.
This one to right field. Alec Golan over, but the ballpark will send it into the bleachers. 3-2. Hasn't been a complete game yet this year here in TD Ameritrade Park. 23rd game played here this year at the collegiate level. Tanner Andrews trying to change that. The 3-2. Line drive right field. This one is playable. Olin takes it. And the Purdue Boilermakers keep this great season rolling right into Omaha with an 8-2 victory over Ohio State in the opening round.
Well, the top-seeded Purdue, as far as this matchup, did what they expected to do. Offensive production, great pitching, bouncing back from adversity, something that we've seen from this program all season long. They got the job done, staying in the winner's side of the bracket.